Hi guys. I ain't been on you too heavy about this water for the past couple of days, but have you drank your water? Have you? Have you been taking your vitamins? Sarah's doing the clock it, so apparently she's been drinking that water, taking the vitamins. Have you been getting your sleep though? These are the things that are important. And those things are important. This interview right here is important. So today, that video and that music that you're used to seeing might just be a little different. It might be. So listen to this new music. Go grab you some water and come back to our lessons beyond the hall conversation. All right. So did you like that music? That vibe, right? It's a good little vibe, right? It's a new little vibe, right? It's because of that guy right there. So every time you be vibing out, the last one and this new one, hit me up because hit him up because I can't do that. But
You know
that
who
vibe
can. You know who can.
every single time.
For sure, for sure.
That vibe is for this guy here. This is Sabir.
So what's up? What's up? What's up?
And as we continue to have our lessons beyond the halls conversation, for those who didn't know him, Macon, he went to
That right?
Progressive Christian
Big
Academy.
Eagle. Big Eagle. You know what I'm saying?
And the hilarity of y'all, we shoot with people, and y'all know I'm honest with y'all. We shoot with everybody involved, and the other guests who are here to shoot our group video next are doing an eagle little wave in the background. It's adorable. I miss us sometimes. We need to have a reunion. Anyway, um, we're here to have our Beyond the Halls conversation from everyone's perspective. So, you ready to jump into it?
Absolutely.
First off, how are you doing today? That's the first question.
I'm well. It's a beautiful day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We in downtown Macon.
Ooh,
Good vibes, good companionship. It's a good day.
we love that. We love that. So, jumping into it, how do you feel like attending PCA, Progressive Christian Academy, um, affected you today? How do you think PCA affected Sabir?
Um, so hmm. I've I think it's a layered answer because in a lot of ways, the ways that PCA affected me is kind of like indirectly. So I think PCA did a great job of planting certain seeds and watering certain seeds that might not have necessarily blossomed, right at that moment, but grow and you appreciate certain things on the back end. So I would say number one probably is the relationships. I think obviously anytime anyone goes through a shared experience, you're gonna form bonds with those people you went through that experience with. But PCA was a very unique experience at that, and so I think it kind of it takes the depth a little bit more for those relationships, and even the relationships that you don't continually maintain. One of my closest friends who also went to Progressive, he always jokes and says that like whenever he sees somebody, like even if he doesn't remember their name, he can see the green and white on them, and that's real. Like you can kind of went through that experience.
Yes.
You could just feel it as an energy, and so I think the those relationships are huge. Second, or in addition to that, I feel like the experience itself, from my particular vantage point, I didn't go to Progressive, started from K5,
starting from the bottom.
Preschool. Yeah, I came in middle school, essentially. I came in fifth grade.
Yeah.
And so I, went to public school, then went to PCA.
Shout
and then
out Riley, if I'm right.
I was definitely at Raleigh, a couple other places. I was at Clisby, but Raleigh was one of the biggest places I was ever for the longest time. And when I came to Progressive, I actually came directly from Raleigh in the fifth grade. So I started the school year off at Raleigh and then went to Progressive. And obviously, completely different culture.
Very much.
And so I think indirectly that kind of, in a way, reinforced to me that there are options. Like there isn't just one path or like a standard path, especially when most people took a public school path, having a different story. Like I think it indirectly told me that not only is that, on the menu or that's available, it's also very much okay. And so being able to tell those stories and give an alternate and give options is one of the things that I pride myself on in a lot of different ways. And I think PCA or going to PCA from public school definitely kind of enforced that in an indirect way. Um, Outside of that, I think the the meaning that was instilled. Obviously we're in school to learn, but I think progressive was really big about character building. I think that is something that even if I didn't appreciate it as much at the time, as I've grown and especially going into my spiritual journey, I appreciate so much the fact that we were in there saying affirmations.
Yeah, young
That's
age,
at a young age, and it's
young
just
age.
like um, that is something that again that seed was planted there, and even when I got there, I didn't understand, but it was a cultural thing. You got to fit in, and
You
you
say
get with
these
the
I am
program.
somebody's
Yeah,
every
I was like,
day.
this is weird, this is different, but in hindsight, it's just so powerful. And so I think now as I've grown into who I am, I can't discount that seed was planted in a lot of ways at PCA. So
Nice. I think that's amazing. For some of y'all who didn't know, we really did say like a long laundry list
yes,
of affirmations every
yes,
morning. Every morning.
absolutely.
And it kind of how this manifestation culture is now and how this affirmation is culture is now, it was instilled in us at a very young age. So for all the people who have something like a judgmental thing to say about it, it really is impactful. And I think it's something that you should try to do for your children to kind of at even at a young age instill in them a sense of self
Yep.
and a sense of knowing in themselves, really. And I feel like that shapes our perspectives and how we see life and go about life. And speaking on perspectives, what would you like if you had to put like a slogan, right?
Oh yeah.
As you
Yeah, I
as
see.
you clearly have
Gotta
on your
talk about it.
perspective, what would that I wonder slogan be?
Hey, we got it on
What
us
is it?
right now.
Is it this one here?
Absolutely, we twinning
I thought so.
today. So this logo, if you don't know much about my story, I coined this 3C phrase: clear, confident, and consistent. And honestly, the cadence of that sounds like something that would be on the school
It would.
affirmation.
It really
Honestly,
would. It would fit
and
perfectly, actually.
for
You should
sure,
be in version 2.0.
for sure, 100%. So, I coined this phrase back in 2020 when I put out a project called Lucidity. And I was just really thinking about how in my journey things are starting to clear up as far as my vision for what I want to do. And I started saying it at shows. My music is about being three things: clear, confident, and consistent. Clear about what you want, confident that you're going to get it, and consistent with the things it takes to do so. I started saying it before I really realized how powerful it was. As that's just the way it is. You kind of grow and you realize like, wow, this is really a lot deeper than I thought it was. And it's just been something, like I said, I put it on shirts. It's something that I actually that's my life mantra at this point. And when you talk about being clear, obviously it's about clear about what you want to do, but also clarity of thought, clarity of mind. We live in a world right now where there's just so much that can collude how we think and get in the way and distract us, but being able to find healthy ways to clear your mind and operate from that space of clarity into being confident, allowing that confidence to translate into action. And that's action even when you don't necessarily know all the answers or have it all figured out. And that's what leads to that consistency. And so I think, again, going back to PCA, the fact that we were saying these affirmations every single day, it doesn't get more consistent than that. And I think a lot of ways it was teaching us that that success is a daily input. It is a daily habit. It is a daily ritual. And those are things that I think, even when it's in the subconscious, I think it's something that I still pull from.
Oh, for sure. I think that one, I love clear, confident, consistent.
Yeah.
We clearly
Yeah.
match. And it's something that okay, so y'all be getting fun facts all the time. Fun fact: my daughter loves his song, right, from his Space Girl album. Please go stream that right now. It's gonna be in the comments. Apple Music. It's gonna be in the
Space to
comments.
grow.
I can't do Spotify because I ain't got that. But the YouTubes will be down there though.
For sure.
Um, But my daughter's favorite song from that record is a multitude of videos of her and her brothers just full on going out with it. But in it, I think the most clear message is from that whole album really is growth and moving forward and always having this thought process. But I feel like whenever we move forward, we have to take a little bit of time to look in that rear view, right? Because when we drive, there's a big window in front of us that's also a rear view mirror to kind of remind us to look back and see what's there. I think that we need to continue to look in that and pull from that when we can. Absolutely. So in that vein, what do you think your younger self would say to Sabir today? So not even just the Sabir that was at Progressive, ideally him, but or at least one that graduated.
Yeah.
But what would that young Sabir say to this Sabir now? Because I know Progressive B would tell this B to stop being so afraid. Of the success or the growth or the benefit that comes with growing. Because I'm not afraid of the hardship that comes with growing. That's easy. But the benefit that comes with growing and how that may change, I'm afraid of that. So I feel like that B would tell this B, stop being a bitch. But she cussed back then.
Yeah.
But we're getting better now. But I feel like that's what that small B would tell this bigger B. Not too much in height, on the same height. But what would that Sabir tell this Sabir?
I love this question a lot because it forces you to kind of step back into those shoes. Absolutely. Shout out to B, man. So in doing that, obviously there's a lot of perspective. I was just telling our friends here that I started making music at Progressive, so that was a formidable time in the things that I'm doing now. And it started off at, obviously a smaller level, but I think there is a lot of magic in that period of time that kind of gets lost the more serious it gets.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably one of the biggest things my younger self would um, probably tell me. I mean, my first album was called Make My Dream, and it was about heavy on having a dream, having something that you want that's bigger than yourself, and getting it done, not only just for yourself but for the people who are going to come in the future and pull inspiration from that. So it was the concept of it was very much like, hey, you don't need to make your dream happen just for you. There are going to be people who need to see this. And I just remember thinking back on that time, and at that moment, I think I was doing a lot of dreaming without having to have evidence. And I think now that's what my younger self would tell me is that you don't have to move in a way where you feel like you have to prove something. Because if I'm looking back at those times where I was just getting started, there was a magic in just existing that sometimes I don't operate with that same whimsy. I don't know if y'all seen the reels where they're like, the older you get, the less whimsical you get. Like life takes your whimsy away from you.
You get so cynical instead of whimsical, and I hate
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of that. Obviously there's a level. If you want to do something, there's a level of seriousness that you have to take it.
Yeah.
But the perspective is remembering that when you started off, it wasn't about it wasn't about that. It was just about acting before you even knew all the answers. And now it's more so, a lot of times I get caught up in the like, I have to have some results to show for this and that and the need to prove myself. And now my younger self will probably look at me and say, that's not how you got to this point. So I think that's what it will be. Continue to dream, continue to get excited about just the possibility, like there's a certain excitement in just having the opportunity to create something and having more time to, another day to, make something happen. And I think so many times I get so caught up in the weeds where it's hard for me to get excited just to have the opportunity to create, because I feel like, oh, I have to make something happen. I have to make a certain result happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, get excited just for the opportunity and then see what happens.
I feel like that's like living a little recklessly.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's okay.
That's very much okay.
That's okay.
For sure.
Just live
Yeah.
I mean, we're adults. We have adult responsibilities, unfortunately. But fortunately, but unfortunately. But just living in a way It's about to sound so rude, but hey, just living away of fuck it. Like
Yeah.
throwing fear to the abandon and throwing the want for success to the abandon and just being like, I mean, I want to do it, so I'm gonna do
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And however it fall,
Yep.
let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
Some gonna stick, but I love that. I
Yeah.
love that the thought process and putting the whimsy back into life now, because
Yes.
life now, especially in this climate, we keep saying this statement, but especially in this climate, can be so cynical
Mm-hmm.
and so divisive and so difficult
Yep.
and so heavy.
Yep.
Really, I know you're into our community a lot. You
Mm-hmm.
do a lot.
Yep.
Also, check out Kwanzaa Access Cultural Access Center.
Facts.
But in that, I know you were raised in that environment a lot, and you really value community and civic engagement. What do you think your role, or what do you hope that your role will be in being that like uplifting light to your community?
Um, I think that um, we. It's just my personal belief is that people were put onto this earth to contribute, and a lot of people are you're constantly in a state of receiving, and we're also here to contribute, to leave something that adds value. And with that being said, I think that a lot of that hinges on your particular skill sets and what you've chosen to pursue and get some sort of competency in. And
Yeah.
so for me, obviously in the music, that's something where I definitely strive to not only make turn up the song music, but turn up your life music. And that is one of the ways that I think I contribute to my community and to anyone who engages with me. They're going to get that side of me that's very much so like helping you reach your potential, because that's a lot of things that I've been working through myself, and so I want to give that back as well. But as I've kind of matured into, or currently maturing into, what I want to do and how I want to continue to evolve my brand. And obviously I'm an artist, but I have the Clutch Factory. That's the brand that's over everything that I do, and that's where the clear, confident, and consistent comes from. I think I'm making a transition into being a thought leader and activator, and that's not exclusive from being an artist. I think that parlays into it. If you just look at, if I'm not rapping my song and you're just looking at the lyrics, then it's like, okay, this is like very
We saying some deep stuff
yeah,
in there.
it's some stuff in there
We
that can
saying some deep
really.
little things in
Absolutely. And I think for me and for anybody, I think you should really pay attention to the feedback that you get, because it can really give you insight to what you're really good at. And so a lot of times I notice when I'm talking to people, whether it's about the music or just about how I see the world, which influences the music. A lot of times people say, I never thought about it like that, or you just really showed me a different way to think about it. And that kind of lets me know that I have a skill in helping people see new perspectives. And I'm not the type of person, I don't force necessarily any type of belief or perspective on anybody, but I do value, especially if however you're thinking about your situation isn't working, um, helping you find a different way to think about it that you might find useful. And if I can do that, that brings me a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of fulfillment. And so I say all that to say, there's some people who are just on the front lines as far as just in the community, shaking hands, kissing babies. And then I do those things, especially with a lot of the organizations I'm a part of. But I really am creating a lot of different programming through Clutch Factory right now that is, the intent is to help people change at the cognitive level, like how they think, how they see their situation, and ultimately how to get more control over the situation. When you look at clear, confident, and consistent, um, I believe that this is a formula to expand your circle of control over your circumstance. So those are two more C's that you can add
there. I'm about
on
to
to
say you're
this.
gonna add some more
Absolutely,
C's.
absolutely. It's the 3C that leads to the 5C. So if you follow this formula, I do believe that ultimately you get more control over your circumstance. But how you think about your circumstance is what affects your ability to really do this the right way. And so I just plan on really expanding that. And through that, I think if you can change how the community thinks, then the behavior is going to
Yeah.
follow.
And for those who watched last week, we talked about constructivism. That's what we meant. Clearing. Y'all are picking what I'm putting down. Thank you. Just at the. Is there anything you want to leave us with for now? Because he's not leaving. As I said, we're here to have a panel discussion.
Yeah.
For next week.
Yeah.
Make sure you're watching. But is there anything you want to leave us with before we say see you soon?
No, this is overdue, so I'm glad to be here. I thank you for
no.
you know what I'm saying.
Pause.
Making this
Have
happen.
y'all noticed how a couple people been throwing me under the damn bus? It's fine though. It's fine though.
Well, it's I think we probably would agree that we've been wanting to make this happen for a long time, so it's not any one person's
y'all, if y'all
fault.
knew Sarah was shaking her head so hard right now.
Yeah.
Disrespectful. Anyway, but thank you for coming.
Of
Thank
course,
you for being with us.
Of course.
You'll be with us this next week.
Yep.
We appreciate it. Also, you should be with us next week. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe and turn on the bell notifications and all the things that I don't want to say to y'all because it's real, it's unnecessary YouTube stuff. But you know, it isn't unnecessary. My hopes for you is that I wish you love and I wish you happiness. But above all else, I wish you peace. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.